So, hello guys, and welcome back on my channel. So, what I wanted to talk about today was the dark side of the child-free community. I've done videos about both the positive sides and the negative sides of the child-free community, and I want to continue to make these videos similar because there are two sides of everything, both a good side and a bad side, and I want to talk about both of them. And I wanted to highlight the dark side because I don't think everybody actually knows what goes on in places like child-free groups. So I wanted to share what goes on behind closed doors, or what you could say, in these child-free groups on Facebook. So it's scary humor that takes place on these child-free community groups. I have to warn you already right now, I have to make a trigger warning. If you do not like humor about kids getting hurt or kids getting killed or anything violent along those lines, this is just me letting you know that you shouldn't watch this video any further, because these kind of things is something that I'm going to be talking about and showing you in this video. If you don't like really dark humor, then please do not watch this video, because then it is not for you. But the humor I am about to share is really violent. But before I get into the humor of these groups, I want to talk about the language that is used on these groups, both about parents and kids. So firstly, a term for parents are often breeder or breeders. The terms used for kids are often terms like parasites and crotch goblins and it. I think that this is not a language that is supposed to be used. It is degrading and it is dehumanizing, if you ask me. So an example of this language could be this post, where of course I've left the person's name out. 7 crotch goblins, they need to be neutered. So because a person has 7 kids, they think that they should be neutered. That's just totally wrong. If the family is happy with having a lot of kids and they can handle it and they can be good parents, who cares how many kids they have? Of course it isn't good for the planet, but we are all doing a lot of stuff in our daily life that isn't good for the planet. We have no reason to judge others when we're doing stuff that is bad for the environment ourselves. Another example of the language used in these groups are... The post says, while sound can disrupt our sleep, scent cannot. You can't rely on your sense of smell to wake you up in the event of a house fire. So this is pretty scary information, I would say. And then the person comments, no, what is pictured can disrupt your sleep permanently. I find it amusing that a parasite was pictured instead of a horn or a barking dog for sound. The word parasite is used. So I would say parasite isn't the wrong term to use if you're talking about a pregnant woman, because a kid is kind of a parasite while they're growing in the body, because they take everything they need to from the mother, even if it leaves the mother in a bad place. So while a kid is growing in your stomach, it kind of is a parasite. It is that for all living beings. Just talking about kids in general in this kind of way is really wrong, because this blatant hate against kid is just, it's extreme. And I would say I don't think the parasite is the right word to use just in general, even about a baby growing in the stomach, but it is true that a baby is a parasite. Just look at the kid as someone who takes everything they need to survive from the mother. So in that kind of term, they are a parasite. But I still think there is better terms to use than parasite, because it is degrading and it is dehumanizing. A kid is still a person, is still a living being. I wish people would stop calling them words like crotch goblins or parasites, or just words that are really negative and comes from a place of hate. Then I'm going to get into the humor I have already talked about in this video, where I talked about the negative side of child-free groups, so go watch that video if you want to. But right now I'm just going to give you examples of what I meant in that video. So I'm going to give you actual examples from child-free groups, which I have already given you when it comes to the language in some child-free groups. And I would say it's not every child-free group, but I would say there are some child-free groups where there is a lot of this. So I'm going to make a video where I talk about like a positive child-free group. So there are those out there, but for me personally, I think they're hard to find, sadly. There is just a lot of hate towards kids and parents on a lot of these Facebook groups for child-free people, and I think it's really wrong, but sadly I can't do anything about that. So this one, I'm not even going to show you the picture because of the YouTube rules. So it says, screaming children on public transport always makes me think of dead baby jokes. So this is the most sick one I found so far. It's basically a piece of wood that is standing up where it says baby on board, and then it's a baby doll that is crucified with blood running down from the crucified spots. And it is crucified in the hands, the feet, the chest area and the head. So because a kid is screaming, you think of them being dead. I'm sorry, but this is just beyond sick in my opinion. They can even make this kind of a humor, like violent humor, where you are joking about hurting somebody else. Like, that's just so wrong. It's beyond wrong. It's safe to say that I didn't care about the don't report stuff on this Facebook group because I reported this post because it's really sick. And then I left the group because this is scary as fuck. And even though it's just supposed to be humor, it really is scary. So I reported it and I left the group because I couldn't take any more of this. I just thought this kind of humor is just sick. I'm sorry, but there's something wrong with you if you like this kind of humor. It's really scary for me, actually. It really is. But going on with the humor, so a person has made a post where it says, "Hey all, so a little while ago I bought a pair of beautiful Versace sunglasses and unfortunately my 1-year-old got a hold of them and was dragging them across my towels. Is there any way to fix these at all, or have I just lost $400? And one of the comments says, "Set it on fire, not the glasses, the other thing." Again, a joke where you are wanting to hurt a kid. And that is not a joke in my opinion, that's just sick. There's something wrong with you if you thrive on violent humor. Because we never know if this is actually people that hate kids so much that they will end up actually hurting a kid in real life. You can never know that. And it's just... it's just not something you should joke with. Like, this is not even funny, it's just sick. It's sick humor if you ask me. Another one that's pretty terrible is a student Bible video where it's about how you can get your child to drink their medicine because you're putting it behind a Capri Sun drink. And then they think they're drinking a Capri Sun, but they're actually drinking a medicine. A smart trick to get your kid to actually drink the medicine. I think this is alright because they're small, they don't understand this, so as long as they get their medicine right. But then a person from the group commented, "Awesome, thanks for letting us know. Pretty sure the same hack will work with poison as well." Again, another joke, another piece of humor about killing a kid. I do not get how this is allowed. Like, it's okay to dislike kids, but hate just, it leads to nowhere good. And a lot of these people clearly need to work on themselves because they have such a strong hate for kids. And sometimes also parents. So, rare footage of Jesus executing a child using a laser. Again, joke about killing a kid. Another one. "Kid, will you visit me when I get out? Nurse, lol, nah, I hate graveyards." Again, a joke about a kid getting killed. Kind of like a kid getting hurt or killed. Kind of the popular humor on some of these groups. So another one. "The neighbor's kids challenged us for a water fight. I'm in. just waiting for the water to boil. What? Again, about hurting a kid. Another one, opening a daycare, hee hee. So there's like play area for kids on top of roof, slides to you fall from that height, you're going to die. And another one says, everybody says that they want to keep Christmas traditional, but when I dress like Krampus but put their breads in a sack and beat them with reeds, suddenly I've gone too far. Another one says, when you thought you ran over an animal, but it was just a toddler. My stance on this is that violent humor about hurting people or killing them, whether they be kids or not, is never okay. And it stings me that this kind of humor is normalized and accepted on some child-free groups. Hate and violence is just one path to all evil things, if you ask me. One thing is to dislike kids and parents, but hate is a dark path you have chosen to go down. And it will always be the wrong path to go down, if you ask me. So I hope this video enlightened you on what is going on, sadly, on these child-free groups. Not all of them, but some of them. This kind of language and humor is hard to see and hear, but I think it's important that we are honest about what is going on these groups on Facebook. So yeah guys, this was a harder video, but I think it's important to talk about these topics so people actually know what is going on these kind of groups. Because if you ask me, this kind of humor has no place anywhere. And it just stings me that some people are so filled up with hate that they find this kind of humor to be fun and to be okay and to be valid, because it's none of those things. So yeah guys, I just hope you got something out of this video and it wasn't too hard to watch, and I just hope to see you soon in another video. Bye guys!